Disturbing facts about historical figures. Now, the one historical fact I know about a figure, the one I think on top of my head is like Gandhi, and he was like. That's all I know. Wait, is that true? That's the thing I'm thinking off the top of my head. Tommy's a historical figure. Technically, I am, because like 100 years in the future, who knows? They could be studying me. You never know. All right, but let's check out the video.
This list is something, so let's just get right into it. Number 1, Mozart. So we're
No, not the goat of classical music. I feel like Mozart was into like some freaky. Probably some girls oiled up playing like the violin or something, like some crazy. I could see it.
Starting this list with Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
That's such a golden name, by the way. Rewind it. Rewind it!
Mozart. So we're starting this list with Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
I don't give a bro how wild he was. Golden name. Golden name. Best name of all time. Of all time. Names haven't been peak since Mozart. Bring back Wolfgang.
One of the greatest composers in the history of music. Chances are, even if you're not a fan of classical music, you've probably heard at least a few of his songs.
Of course.
I'm playing one in the background right now. But did you know that in addition to banging out over 800 legendary compositions, Mozart also...
He was also banging. Know what I'm saying? He was also banging everywhere, bro, playing violins. No, I'm just playing. Can you imagine he said that, though? Could you imagine he said that? He's probably not going to say that.
Wrote a few songs about licking holes.
Yo, why was I close? Why was I close? Hold up, I'm goated. I'm goated. I knew it was going to be something sexual. I swear to you, I knew it was going to be something sexual.
That's right, songs. As
Tommy
in
wants to be
multiple
licked there.
songs about licking holes. But first, let's rewind a bit to try to explain why. Born in 1756, Mozart was one of the earliest examples of a child prodigy. He excelled in both piano and violin, and was composing and performing in front of royalty at the age of 5. For context,
Damn.
my greatest accomplishment at the age of 5 was putting on my Crocs all by myself.
Nah, yo. Was I just like, I don't know if it was just me. I don't know if I was a sped kid. I used to be putting on the wrong shoe. Like the wrong, I used to put my left shoe on my right shoe, and my right shoe on my left shoe. Yeah, I was not at the levels of Mozart, man. I was just I don't know. I literally, like, I'm not even joking. I might be sped. But what were y'all doing at 5? Were y'all, man, I know y'all wasn't doing at 5. Shut up. Y'all wasn't doing either, okay? Mozart's the go.
But Mozart was out there playing the piano in front of the kings and queens of Europe. Pretty much the same thing if you ask me. But anyways, at the age of 17, he became an official musician of the Salzburg court in the Holy Roman Empire, where he composed some of his most critically acclaimed masterpieces. Now, I'm telling you all of this because there's this modern-day theory that child stars stop mentally maturing at the age they become famous. And this may have been the case for Mozart as well, as he was very into things like butts, and poop, and balls. Just like...
Okay, I was about to say for butts, like he would... Okay, he was an early ass man. Cause back then, bro, y'all know for centuries it was just titties. He was an early ass man. I gotta respect that, but I don't know about the poop and balls. I don't know about that, man. Hey, he might have been closeted or something. You got a poop kink? I guess he might have been an early proponent to that too. There's hella celebrities that are like that. They like that. Like OBJ or that football player. I think, yeah, that's his name.
Like your typical kindergartner, he thought these things were hilarious. In love letters to his cousin, yeah, don't ask, we find quotes like, "I wish you good night, shit in your bed all your might," and "I shit on your nose so it runs down your chin." And you might say, well, at the peak of his fame, the dude was still a teenager. These letters were written when he was in his 20s. The guy just loved talking about poop.
Yeah, no, I wasn't like that in my teenage years, or, I mean, I'm in my 20s now. I wasn't like that. Cause your cousin was normal back then? I don't think so as much as people think. I really don't think so. No, never mind. Yeah, it was.
There are at least 40 preserved letters written by Mozart where he talks about pooping, or butts, or some other weird thing. And he didn't just keep it between friends and family.
Let's
he
hear
even
Mozart
composed
out.
pieces for the general public to tell everyone that he really liked holes. The most well-known of...
Nah. This man had a TED Talk. Hold on, let me go ahead and put on some Mozart music real quick. Alright, people of today, I gather to tell you why you should let your wife shit on you. Okay, you just gotta hear me out for a second. You gotta hear me out, but maybe you'll enjoy it. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Okay, let me stop.
One of Mozart's dirty ditties was the beautiful choral piece for 6 voices Lech mich im Arsch, or Lick Me in the A**, with lyrics that speak to, well, getting licked in the
Oh, baby.
Here's a snippet from the English translation. Lick me in the quickly, quickly. Lick me in the quickly. Now, what I
Bro, this sounds like a fucking like Megan Thee Stallion song or some shit, like a Lotto song, like a Nicki Minaj song. Who the what? Hey, bro, all the female rap just took Mozart's flow. They literally took Mozart's flow on everything. An Ice Spice song.
And most hilarious about all this is you can actually go and watch videos of serious classical singers dressed up in suits and ties singing Lick Me in the
baby
on YouTube. It's almost as if Mozart knew that if he wrote it, people would be singing this song about licking holes for hundreds of years. Some other translated lyrics from a few other of Mozart's ass-focused bangers include Stick Your to Your Mouth, Oh Lick Me Real Quick in the and maybe my personal favorite, It Is Difficult to Lick My and You said it, Amadeus. We've all tried, and it is difficult.
I mean, shit, bro. If it sounded fire, like, who cares, bro? Like you hear classical music and you hear the opera music and stuff when they be singing. Nobody understands it, man. Nobody understands that shit. But if it sounds fire, it's classical music. Who cares?
You genius prodigy, you. Number
Why are you guys
2,
questioning
Thomas
me?
Edison. Many people know of Thomas Edison as the genius inventor behind things like the incandescent light bulb.
He actually didn't invent the light bulb, by the way. That's a lie.
The phonograph, and the kinetoscope, to name a few. But not many people know just how power-hungry and downright cruel Edison really was. Edison was an ego-driven, cutthroat businessman who went to extreme lengths to make as much money as possible. He even went as far as publicly electrocuting animals to try to put his competitors out of business. But before...
No. This man was like the P. Diddy of his time. Blowing up cars and shit, except with like animals. Oh my god, man. It's like a cartel leader. He would have been going crazy now.
Before that, let's start with his accidental creation of Hollywood. One of Edison's favorite activities was suing other people when they didn't pay him to use his inventions. When he and his partner created the first movie camera and movie projector, he opened America's first movie production studio in 1893, dubbed the Black Maria, in West Orange, New Jersey.
That actually isn't that long ago. If you're 1893, that's like 7 years away from the night. That's not that long ago if you really think of it.
After opening the Black Maria, he formed the Motion Picture Patents Company, a trust, nicknamed, surprise, surprise, the Edison Trust, which contained his production company as well as all of his major competitors, who, by that time, were all on the brink of failure due to constantly being sued by Edison. Through this trust, he then began to sue anyone and everyone who tried to make movies without paying him first. Because of the sheer amount of...
Wait, he doesn't still have this, right? Damn, can you imagine like all of Hollywood had to pay him like a 5% stake in their movies or something because he was like the original creator of the movie camera or whatever? I would be sick as hell.
Patents the trust held, it became virtually impossible for anyone to make movies on the East Coast without paying Edison a hefty sum or getting sued. As a result, independent filmmakers opted to get as far away from Edison as possible. With its cheap land and abundant labor, Hollywood, California was the best and furthest option, and the rest is history. So Hollywood...
Is that really why Hollywood is full of movie stars? I never thought of that. And he said cheap. Not anymore. I don't know which Hollywood we're talking about. I don't know which California, LA, or whatever. It used to be cheap, I guess. A nice land. Did he say cheap? Hold on, let me rewind it.
To get as far away from Edison as possible, with its cheap land and
Oh yeah, he said cheap land. Okay. Okay, I just had to rewind it. No, hey, not anymore. Not anymore. You get a shack for like two. You gotta pay $200,000 for a shack.
Abundant labor. Hollywood, California was the best and furthest option, and the rest is history. So Hollywood essentially was created because independent filmmakers were like, I gotta get the fuck away from this guy, and moved the entire movie industry across the country to do so. Anyways, surprise, surprise, the Edison Trust was shut down in 1915 after losing an antitrust monopoly court case.
No.
Shocking. But speaking of shocking, that brings us to our next horrific Edison story. As America industrialized, there were two competing methods to bring electricity to the masses: direct current and alternating current, or DC and AC electricity, respectively. Edison favored and invested heavily into direct current systems, where voltage stays constant, flowing in a single direction, while Westinghouse, a competitor, promoted alternating current, where the current periodically changes direction. While alternating current proved more effective at transferring electricity over long distances, Edison, unsurprisingly given his investments in direct current systems, claimed it was volatile and far too dangerous. To prove this, he went to extreme lengths to smear the public perception of AC electricity. Edison began to hold public displays where he would gather a crowd and then electrocute animals with alternating current as a way to demonstrate how dangerous it was.
That's why he did it? Bro, it's funny because, like, electricity just kills you. Any electricity kills you. It doesn't matter what it is. Any electricity will kill you. Whether it's AC, DC. That's a dickhead move right there. Pedal would kill him? Nah, man. And it's crazy because I think we all use, like, do we use DC or AC more? I don't even know. I don't know.
Edison fried mostly stray cats and dogs, but on one occasion, when the Coney Island Zoo decided that they needed to put down an unruly elephant, Edison jumped on the opportunity. In 1903, in front of a crowd of 1,500 people, Edison electrocuted Topsy the elephant to prove his point, even filming the incident to have it live on forever. Don't Google it, it's messed up. Ultimately, while the stunt was successful in killing Topsy, it did little to stop the growing popularity of alternating current systems, and eventually AC electricity became the widespread standard that powers the majority of the world today. Number 3.
Damn, he was sick. He thought because he didn't even invent the light bulb, but...
Henry Ford. Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motor Company, is one of the most...
Founder of the worst vehicles of all time. Oh my god, man.
Influential businessman in U.S. history. But did you know he was also a huge racist who was praised by even Hitler himself?
Goodbye.
Ford's introduction of the Model
No, you know what's crazy, bro? Y'all know the man with the mustache made Volkswagen? Like the car, Volkswagen? I don't know. He might talk about that, actually. Maybe he'll talk about it.
T automobile and pioneering of the assembly line
Always
technique
Ford at the mechanics?
completely changed the world, revolutionizing both manufacturing and transportation in America. Serving as the sole owner of his company, Ford was one of the richest and most respected men of his time, and a shining example of capitalism at its finest. However, while Ford was a shining example of capitalism, he was also the shining example of a huge racist dick. Starting off, Ford's factories practiced
I mean, to be fair, all of them back then, every single one of these inventors, bro, the inventor of everything we modern day use, like, you really gotta think of it, the chair, the computer, literally anything, bro. Most likely racist. Some crazy shit. They had some crazy shit in their vaults. It was all of them.
Your standard racial segregation of the time. Ford felt that black people were inherently inferior to whites, and his black workers were unable to be promoted or to hold any sort of executive position. They usually worked only in the forge and foundry of the factories, the most dangerous positions in the company. He also publicly supported organizations like the KKK. But Ford's treatment of black people pales in comparison to his utter hatred of Jews. Ford was a loud and proud anti-Semite. He invested almost as much energy into creating anti-Jewish propaganda as he did growing his automobile company. He believed a racist conspiracy theory that Jews controlled the world's labor unions, banks, and media. And because of his wealth and success...
I mean, if he's friends with the man with the mustache, why did y'all say Kanye, bro? Okay, Kanye does not compare to this, bro. This man was friends with the man with the mustache. Yeah, if you're friends with the man with the mustache, you're probably gonna think this.
His words held a lot of weight around the world. Ford believed that Jewish people were out to get him, so much so that he purchased a struggling newspaper to begin running a weekly series titled The International Jew.
This is a different level of hating. No, this is a different level of hating. See, like, this is a different level. A weekly newspaper hating on a race? I don't even think they was doing this for us back in the day, man. Oh, a weekly newspaper just hating?
The world's problem on the paper's front page. Subtle. The International Jew articles were collected into booklets and published in post-World War I Germany and heavily influenced many young Germans who saw Ford as a successful and powerful American. There are documented cases of Nazi officials saying that it was Ford's publications that convinced them that Hitler and the Nazi ideology were right. Wow. Speaking of Hitler, he was also a huge fan of Ford's work and even mentioned him by name in Mein Kampf as a single great man. Hitler was known to keep a photo of Ford, as well as copies of the International Jew, in his office for inspiration. In 1938, Germany awarded Ford the Grand Cross of the German Eagle, the highest Nazi award that can be given to anyone not of German descent, which he happily accepted.
And it's crazy because, like, Ford's got the shittiest cars of all time. Shittiest cars of all time.
Henry Ford died in 1947, taking his anti-Semitic beliefs with him.
Rebozo.
And in 2014, Ford Motor Company appointed its first Jewish CEO in Mark Field. Number 4, Alexander the Great.
Bro, Ford was probably literally like fiending at the grave. Like as soon as he heard that, he literally like trying to get out the ground as soon as he heard that happen.
In Mark Field. Number 4, Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great is widely recognized as one of history's greatest and most accomplished military commanders and warriors. But what most people don't know is that once he got so drunk during a banquet that he ended up killing one of his best friends.
Oh, no!
What?
After taking the throne at the age of 20, following the assassination of his father, Philip II, Alexander spent the majority of his reign successfully conducting large-scale military campaigns throughout Asia and Egypt. And by the time he was 30, Alexander had accumulated not only a super legit KDA, but also one of the largest empires in the history of the world, stretching from Greece to northwestern India. But who was this friend he killed and why? Well, Cletus the Black was an officer who initially served as an army commander under Philip II, a position that he retained when Alexander took the throne. He was a trusted military advisor, and in the Battle of Granicus in 334 BCE, as Alexander was being assailed by 2 Persian warriors, Cletus saved the king by severing the arm of one of the Persians before the enemy could deliver the killing blow. By all accounts, Cletus was an extremely valuable asset and a good friend to Alexander, but ultimately
his name was Cletus. He was definitely racist.
Not enough of a friend to, not murder? In 328 BCE, Alexander was holding a banquet, and it was during this banquet that he and Cletus got into a heated argument which ultimately turned deadly. While the particulars of the night's events vary from author to author, what all sources agree on is that both men were extremely drunk. That night, Alexander announced a reorganization of his military commands, and Cletus specifically got the short end of the stick when he was ordered to lead a group of 16,000 defeated mercenaries to Central Asia, which he viewed as a massive demotion. He would go from commanding one of the most revered cavalries in the world to leading a group of losers into the middle of nowhere. He called BS, and then things got wild. Cletus began voicing his opposition to the plan, which began to upset Alexander. Then, Cletus added fuel to the fire by claiming that Alexander was not the legitimate king, and that all of his achievements were only made possible by his father, the slain Philip II.
Damn, he's saying he's a Nepo baby? Saying he's a Nepo baby? For a man that is this the Roman Empire? I think this is the Roman Empire. For a man that led that, shit, I would have had an ego too. I would be like, what'd you say? It's a fork. It's a fork. Okay. I would never actually bup a friend. I would never actually do this, okay? I would never do this. I'd more like hug them.
Sick burn. Anyways, some back and forth and a few more insults from Cletus, Alexander got so pissed he threw an apple at Cletus's head and demanded a dagger or spear.
It's not the Roman Empire? Okay, never mind. You know what? It don't matter. Wait, what did he say?
Anyways, some back and forth and a few more insults from Cletus, Alexander got so pissed he threw an apple at Cletus's head and demanded a dagger or spear. The guards, not wanting to get in the middle of a fight between their emperor and his well-respected friend, escorted Cletus out of the room.
Damn.
And that was that. Until somehow Cletus drunkenly made his way back into the room, loudly shouting a second course of insults he had come up with. Alexander, who, remember at this point, was also still drunk and pissed, decided that he had heard enough and grabbed a nearby javelin and threw it directly through Cletus's heart. Most records show that Alexander...
And I thought, like, the fights I've had with my friends, the bad fights, I thought we had problems. Like, we would not speak to each other for days. Could you imagine just, like, killing your like, you just get mad and you're like, alright, just spear him? Gee, shit was different back then, man. Hey, I wouldn't last, bro. I actually wouldn't last, I swear to you. I'd be so scared.
Regretted this incident immediately.
I would last. Nobody here would
last. Waking up to a drunk text you sent to your ex during a blackout is one thing. But what about waking up to having drunkenly murdered your friend with a javelin? Cletus had been a commander in service to the crown since before Alexander even took the throne. Not to mention he had saved him from certain death a number of years before. Alas, once a javelin goes through the heart, there are generally no takebacks. Number 5. William Clark of the Lewis and Clark Expedition. After the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, President Thomas Jefferson commissioned the Corps of Discovery Expedition, commonly known as the Lewis and Clark Expedition, which sent Captain Meriwether Lewis and his best bro William Clark, along with a small crew, on a multi-year mission to find a trade route through the newly acquired Western Front. Among the crew was just one African American, Clark's personal slave.
I knew it was coming up, and I know what's about to happen.
York, who was instrumental in the ultimate success of the expedition. But who?
Oh, damn, wait, he helped? He's about to get fucked over. Pre-BLM, I already know what's coming up.
Was York, and what became of him when they returned? York was born enslaved and had been in service to Clark's family for almost his entire life. He was around the same age as Clark himself, so naturally he was designated as Clark's personal slave when they were both children. The two grew up together, learned valuable outdoor skills, and grew a deep but complicated bond. When Clark received a call from Lewis about the expedition, he decided to bring York along as his companion. During the expedition, York diligently stayed by his master's side throughout the entire ordeal. He faithfully worked, hunted, fought, and traveled with Clark and his men for the whole 3-year journey. His contributions went far beyond that of a general laborer. York helped Lewis and Clark deal peacefully with native tribes after the group had botched their first few interactions with the Native Americans. The tribes would be more at ease seeing a man with dark skin traveling with the party, and eventually when Lewis and Clark encountered a native group, the elders would instinctivly begin talking with York first, as if he was the leader. Now, before you start typing...
Damn, I know they had an ego. I know they were like, ooh, this goddamn... Ooh, you know we can't let this... We can't let this... Can't let him act like he's not the leader of the group. You understand that? He's not the leader of the group. And they gotta know that. And then after that, we know what happens. We know what's about to happen. They couldn't let the black man be the leader of the group. They don't want him to look like that.
In the comments, yes, the introduction of Sacagawea to the party obviously made native relations easier as well. But she did not have contact with the expedition until the group had already been traveling for 9 months, so cool your jets. Clark even wrote about York's value to the party in his own personal writings, saying that York astonished the natives they encountered. As the journey progressed, so too did York's standing within the group. He was also allowed to hunt with a rifle, which slaves were not allowed to touch at the time, and even gained voting rights amongst the crew when decisions needed to be made.
Bro, he was like that. Hold up. Bro, he was like that. Nah, I gotta give an applause for York. He was that guy, bro. They gave him voting rights? Yeah, voting rights until like 50 years later. Wait, no. Did black people have voting rights after they got freed? No, let's be real now. But like, damn, he was like that. But yeah, we know what's coming. Pre-execution.
With this newfound acceptance, York began to see himself in a new light, as through his actions he slowly gained the respect of everyone in the crew. Well, everyone except Clark, that is. After the successful completion of their expedition, York, newly empowered by what was undoubtedly a life-changing journey, asked his master for freedom. Clark, however, despite all they had been through, said no, and became frustrated that York even asked for such a thing. Which I guess is not surprising given the times, but still seems extra cruel considering he treated York like an equal for 3 years.
Come on, man!
Him only to act like nothing had changed when they returned. Every other member of the expedition was handsomely paid with money or land, but York, as a slave, received nothing. When York continued asking for his freedom, Clark grew angry and had him whipped, and then sent away to a harsher slave owner as punishment. There are some reports that Clark eventually did free York years later, but whether or not this is true or simply historical whitewashing, we'll never know.
Nah, man. Bro, come on. That story just made me sad. Absolute betrayal. But that was your friend. I never understand scenarios like this, man. Like, come on, bro. That's a different bond. That's a different bond y'all had. He didn't deserve that. He didn't. Yo, W video. What is this channel? Damn, this channel only has 1K subs. Now, everybody go sub to this. Go sub to this channel. That was a really good I thought this channel had like 100 or 300K or some shit. I don't know. In the future, when I'm a historical figure, hopefully... there's no disturbing facts about me. I really hope, because I know what happened. There'll be statues of Tommy NFG everywhere. It's definitely going to happen. Just look at it in 100 years. Watch. And yeah, if you're watching this on the tube, join the Discord.